Today's Mercedes-Benz interview of the day brought to you by the superbly versatile all-electric EQB from Mercedes-Benz. The vehicle all-electric, feeling all Mercedes. Learn more at mbusa.com/EQB. Our good buddy Jim Jackson, Fox Turner NBA analyst, fourth overall pick by the Mavs in the 1992 draft, played 14 seasons in the league, and he joins us from his car. All right, let's play Guess the Car that Jim Jackson is driving. Todd, I'll start with you.
A Cadillac Escalade.
Cadillac Escalade. All right, Seton O'Connor.
Not.
Oh, man. I don't know about the shape of that. It looks maybe like Land Rover-ish, but I'm going to go with a G-Wagon, like a Boss.
All right. Marvin, you want to guess?
We could just go with Range Rover.
All right. Paulie?
I'm going to go off the board. It looks like a big car. Lincoln Navigator?
All right. I'm going to go Range Rover. Jim?
Marvin must have been a brother, right? Because Marvin knew it right away. He said it was Range Rover. He knew.
Yeah.
So you got it right, too.
Yeah. I think, wait a minute, let me check. Marvin, are you still a brother? He said you might have been a brother.
Still am.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
He still is.
Yeah. Marvin
I mean,
is still.
He answered it real quick with authority like he already knew.
Is
That's
that
like
one?
back in the day, you knew what the caddy was. Just you knew coming around the corner just by looking at the tail lights or by the grill or before it was a caddy. You already knew.
What was the first car you got when you got paid?
It was a BMW 750.
So that was at Ohio State.
No, that was when I got paid when I went to the NBA. That was good. That was good. Dan, that was good. Now, technically, I was still at Ohio State, but I declared for the draft.
Okay. All right.
See, that great education prepared me for that one. That was a good one.
Let me start with last night's game. At what point did this game change, in your opinion, and Minnesota go on to win?
Probably when Minnesota was able to cut the lead, being down 20 at halftime. And I was out running around with my son yesterday on daddy duties. But being able to – it's a funny thing, Dan. It's like momentum. They say, does it exist? Yes, no. But it does mentally, especially when you're able to cut into a lead in the third quarter and feel good about yourself going into the fourth quarter. Because mentally, you're like, the game can change so quickly where it goes from a 20-point deficit down to 10, and you're like, oh, that's only 4 or 5 possessions. We're right back in the game. And I think that's where things kind of took a turn, because even though it was a 20-point game, it didn't feel like Minnesota was out of it. Like, they cut it down to 17, 16, went back up to 20. So they were right there. But I thought, going into the fourth, Minnesota was in a really good position. You string together some stops, make some shots, you cut it under 10, and now the pressure is on Denver to have to win that at home.
I'm also, when I watched Anthony Edwards, that, shooters shoot. But at some point you realize you got to help the team in a different way. I mean, he's 22, and then all of a sudden they put him on Jamal Murray, and defense won that game last night. Second half defense won that game, and they needed to have other weapons kind of fill in the gray area there. I kept waiting for Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, somebody had to be that second best guy, and they actually got, a lot more of a collective unit. I don't know how sustainable that is. This is a team built to beat Denver. Is this a team that is also built to beat Dallas?
Well, let's go back to this. The team is built in a way where it doesn't have to rely on one particular player. I think the biggest jump from Minnesota this year to last year is a couple of things. Not the biggest, but a couple of things. One, you had a full Mike Conley for training camp. I think that kind of – you saw – look, it's not like the offense was in the top 10 all year, but he gives you a certain amount of sustainability on the offense. When you need to get a basket, you need to get into a set, you need to get set up, he provides that for you. That's what you need in particular in the Game 7 on the road when you need to make a basket. But I do believe, too, with Cat, changing his mindset. Last year it was a lot of things going on, a lot of disruption. He and Anthony Edwards, he and Rudy Gobert. But I think Cat did an excellent job this year of kind of accepting the secondary role, but still knowing that he can be very effective and will be needed. And you can combine that with Jaden McDaniel and Nikhil Alexander, Naz Reid, and what those guys are able to do. This gives you a really complete team. Now, the challenge you're going to have, against Dallas, Dallas is going to try to spread them apart. That's what you do. With size, you want to spread that size and then attack individually. But I tell you what, man, it's something about this team. Chris Finch has done an excellent job in the organization of kind of plugging and piecing together quality guys. With Anthony being able to be the leader at a young age, but it's just his demeanor. He just doesn't care. He wants to play defense. He wants to pass. He wants to score. He wants to be the best. It's something about this Minnesota team. Will this be the year? I don't know. But I tell you what, I'm having a hell of a time watching him play.
Talking to Jim Jackson, Fox and Turner NBA analyst. I also kind of scolded people. If you're going to say Anthony Edwards reminds you of Michael Jordan, then don't give up on him when they had to win the last two games. Not if you believe he truly is a reincarnation of Jordan, or at least the embryonic stages, then he can do this, because we didn't doubt Jordan, and that's why I said don't doubt Anthony Edwards. He can do this. But the confidence level at 22, did you ever run into somebody where you go, man, they got way too much confidence at an early age?
AI.
Oh, yeah.
AI was like that. Allen Iverson. I mean, it was, it's funny because I go back to when Anthony was in high school. Steve Smith, who worked for Turner, TNT, played at Michigan State, played the NBA. We were together a few times in Atlanta, and he said, Jimmy, I got this young fella right here in Atlanta that I've been helping, mentor. He had a rough upbringing a little bit, but he got something in him. He's just different. He just built different. His mentality is different. Okay? I said, okay, let me keep an eye on me. And I saw he went to Georgia, and I could tell. I said, you won't be able to tell what kind of player he can be until he gets out of college. But his mentality is just so different, and it's lovable, it's likable. He is who he is. One thing about it, he's not caught up into that I know of himself. He knows how good he is. He'll tell you how good he is, but it's not overbearing. It's not overbearing to his teammates, to the coaching staff, because he's willing to listen, he's willing to learn. And that's something you cannot teach. It has to be within you. And he's going to compete. I don't care who it is on the court. You saw him going at KD. You saw him going at Jokic. You saw him going at Murray. He's going to go at – he said, I can't wait. I want to guard Kyrie. How many of the young players, Dan, one, want that challenge, accept it, and then if it doesn't work, it's on me. My bad. I'm not pointing the finger at everybody else trying to pass the blame. It's on me. You don't see that, and I think that's what makes him so special, man.
He's cocky but likable. And
yes, that's how Barkley was, though, right? When Barkley played.
Yeah. You liked him, even though he was cocky.
Yeah, exactly. He gave you some great quotes.
Yes,
interview, and that's what Anthony is. He told Chuck, bring your ass to Minnesota. You know what I'm saying?
Did the Knicks have a good season?
Yes, they had an outstanding season.
Okay.
If you would have told the Knicks fans, organization, you're a game away from getting to the Eastern Conference Finals at the beginning of the year, they would have took that all day long. So it's a matter of perspective. They'd have told you that Jalen Brunson would have been in the conversation for MVP, that Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo would eventually, they came off the bench, would be your starters and have this kind of impact. They would have bought that all day long. But your perspective changed when you start to have a little success, get a little greedy and say, no, we should have. No. This right here, despite the injury, was a very successful. You could feel the energy in the Garden through the TV, man. It was phenomenal.
How much pressure is on the Celtics?
A lot, because no Jokic is in there, no Durant, no LeBron, especially with Tatum and Brown. It's not tailor-made for them to win it, but they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals. And you can't take that for granted on how difficult that is to get that thing. Jaylen Brown has been there 6 times in Tatum 5 times now to the Eastern Conference Finals. And, people say it like, oh, well, it's another Eastern Conference Finals. Like, it's nothing. Man, stop it. It's extremely difficult to go through an 82-game season and get to the Eastern or Western Conference Finals right before a championship. But again, it's expectation. And it is an opportunity for this team to kind of set the table. Indiana's going to be tough, man. Now, they're not going to roll over. But I think a lot of people, I don't know what the odds, did you see the odds?
Boston,
when Denver lost? When they lost, how much did it go up? Because they were already favored.
But
how much
favorites.
did it increase?
Big favorites, yeah. Certainly over the Pacers. And a decent favorite over the Timberwolves.
Yeah, but how do you deal with, too, the question is going to be taking it one game at a time. Let's get through the Eastern Conference Finals and then get to the finals and worry about the finals then. Okay? That has to be the goal. And you want to get through that, I'm going to say rather quickly, say 5 or 6 games. I think this Dallas series may go to 7.
We were talking about painful sports moments. Like, would you rather have physical pain in your body or the pain of what happens when your team loses?
Physical. I can't watch right now the Elite Eight game when we lost to Michigan. For some reason, Dan, when it comes on, I'm hoping for a different result, but it does not happen. we always end up losing in overtime. I'm hoping that shot by Prince goes in and I get a chance to get to a Final Four. The mental part stays. Anytime I'm blessed to do with Turner the Elite Eight, Sweet 16. And every year when I get to that point, I dig back into the memory banks of the feeling of what if? What if, we beat Michigan twice that year? What if we win that game and just get to a Final Four? What would that feel like? Injuries, I've been through it. Yeah, the pain, but that feeling right there, Dan, it never leaves, bro. Never leaves.
You faced Duncan and the Spurs later in your career.
No, I got him early.
Oh,
I mean, you mean in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Oh, in the playoffs, yeah.
Yeah. But when you, did you understand Duncan's greatness when you saw it?
Well, it was twofold. My first time, it was the year they won it, 98-99 lockout year. I was with Portland. So that was my sixth year in the league. 98. So 6 years in. You could see that this young man was skilled. I think that was his second year because he and Rashid were kind of going at it. And that year, David Robinson played well, but you could tell this young man. And you question, like, okay, is he a center? Is he a power forward? I mean, what is he? He's so skilled. But then I got a chance to meet him again when I was later in my career, when he had evolved so much and already won championships when I was with Phoenix. And just watch that evolution of a guy just going to work about his business, so tough. I'm like, what do you take away? And he became a better free throw shooter. So before you could foul him, put him to the line, and he may make 1 out of 2, and you okay, late in the game situation. No. I mean, and he just went about his business in a professional manner and it was hard to get to him. It was hard to get him riled because he wouldn't. He'd just give you that stare look. He's like, man, I'm just wasting my time. It ain't even worth it, man. It's not even worth it.
But who's the player you played against where you go, I don't know how he's doing it. Like, I don't get it. Because there's certain times you'll watch, like Brunson, and he's putting up 44. Yes. Joker, you'll watch and you go, I don't know how he's doing it. Or Luka's putting up 60 and 20, and you're going, I don't know. There are just certain players that you go, I don't get it. Was there I don't get it guy?
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to think of who during my time period, because it was so many, and it's not the star. It's just, oh, man, that's a great, I have to get back to you on that one. That's a great question because the stars are going to be the stars. You're like, even with Luka, he's so talented and he understands the game. He's going to have the ball in his hands. He's going to put numbers up. You're talking about the guy that you're looking at like, come on, man. It not athletic, probably. Probably doesn't have height, but yet and still, that's a good question. I have to get back to you on that one. Old age, Dan. Old age.
Yeah, well, I'm catching up to you. I'm catching up to you. I looked up to you when I was growing up in Ohio. Just want to let you know.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Mighty Zanesville. What was your mascot of Zanesville?
Well, I was only born in Zanesville. I grew up right by Kings Island.
Oh yeah.
Mason.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem. See, because Cedar Point is a lot better than Kings Island, bro. Sorry, we would never go to Kings Island.
I would never go to Cedar Point unless I was going to steal your girlfriend.
Well, that's your problem. See, you didn't expand your horizons enough because what did you? We had the Gemini and the Demon Drop and all that at Cedar Point. What you have? You had one roller coaster, big one. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, we were the Mason Comets.
I feel bad for
we
you,
were the
bro.
Mason. No, don't. You had to grow up around Cleveland, man.
No, Toledo, man.
Well,
Toledo, Detroit.
Same thing. Same thing. Don't give me a brag on Toledo.
It was a brag.
Oh, damn.
Did you know history lesson? This because you want to know, because I know you do. Back in the 40s and 50s, big banking area. Toledo, Chicago, Cleveland, Detroit. Those areas were hugged because of water rail banking. Not Cincinnati, not Columbus, not Dayton, Toledo.
Well, that's great to know that it was in the 40s and 50s. That has nothing to do with now.
But that's when you were born. So I was just saying. That was
Once again, I looked up to you when you were at Ohio State, and I go, I want to be that good and get paid that much money when I'm in college, too. You know what? How about that Elite Eight game? Remember when Jim Jackson was in the Elite Eight against Michigan? And they pull that video, Paulie.
Yeah, roll it.
No, don't pull it. Don't you dare, Paulie. I would never come back on this show. Don't you pull it.
Great to talk to you, man. Thanks for joining us.
Man.
That's Jim Jackson, Fox and Turner NBA analyst, and spent 14 years in the league, the association. We'll take a break. Last call for phone calls. What we learned, what's in store tomorrow.